Hello, my name is Paul, and I am the voiceover for a ministry provided to you by Kym Coan at God is Government, called Your Daily Bread. Taken from Christ's teaching of the Lord's Prayer in Matthew chapter 6, verse 11. This is a daily devotion ministry focused not only on uplifting Scripture, but Scripture that will grow your spiritual connection with Christ. We hope that you receive these devotions to uplift you, encourage you, but most importantly, advance your knowledge base of the Holy Scriptures. Today's focused discussion will be on homosexuality. Homosexuality is the ultimate perversion of manhood. It is the ultimate perversion of manhood, and is, by the way, the end of society. When I say the West has fallen, I say it particularly because in 2003 the United States legalized sodomy. In 2015 they legalized homosexual marriage. And here we are, in 2022, featuring the ultimate degradation of homosexuality, which is drag queens in elementary schools, grooming kids to be as perverted as a male could possibly be. And the government is demanding acceptance for these people, if not making them the priority. Where you have homosexuality, you have the end of a culture. When it is legalized the way it has been in this country, when it is normalized so that they can be married, and when it is praised and elevated, you know the culture has fallen. So where are we? We're where we were before the light arrived. We're back in Greece and Rome. The Greek and Roman culture was literally steeped in deviant homosexuality. They had gymnasiums, from the Greek word gymnos, which means naked, only for men, and they participated in whatever they were doing naked. It was marked by debauchery, homosexuality, cross-dressing, every bizarre, unimaginable thing. There were catamites, there were pederasts, it's called. You can look those up. It was the worst of the worst, and it brought about the end of the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire. The fall was profoundly complete. We're in the same place, This is not new. This is paganism, pre-Christian paganism. So now we're in post-Christian paganism. How do we get out of this without fathers? Kevin Swanson has written a marvelous book called Epoch, highly recommend it, subtitled The Rise and Fall of the West. Let me read you just one paragraph. Over 60 years, the pornography revolution has ruined the American male, ruined modern sexual life, and ruined marriage. Pornography enabled mass isolation, depersonalization of sexuality, and homosexuality by the accommodation of self-gratification. It was electronic technology which mass-produced and fast-tracked the dry rot to disintegrate human society in the modern world. Electronic access to pornography was constant and omnipresent after the smartphone was released in 2011. Children were corrupted by this technology as readily as the Greeks had accomplished the same feat with their own children in the gymnasiums. On average, a child first encountered pornography around 11 years of age, and 94% of children were viewing porn by 14 years of age. By 2019, 95% of teens 13 to 17 had full access to a smartphone and pornography, and almost half of them admitted to constantly being on the internet. 80% of American men 18 to 30 were addicted to pornography, admitting to regular use. Overall, Americans increased their participation in pornography from 20% to 65% between 1970 and 2019. The sheer number of men, boys, and families ruined by this electronic and demonic scourge would be impossible to figure. All that was left to assess was lying in the ashes of Western civilization. That's where we are, and Satan has done it by attacking the fathers relentlessly, and it can't get worse than it is. It doesn't go beyond being a drag queen. It doesn't go beyond putting a drag queen in an elementary school. That is perversity beyond comprehension. That's the darkness. That is the present darkness. And now going back to the text of Scripture, I hope that will help you understand what it means that we are to have nothing to do with the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but we are to walk as children of light. So let's look at this text. First of all, you see a contrast in verse 8. A contrast. For you were formerly darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. You were formerly darkness, now you are light in the Lord. The verb were is emphatic. You were. If you go back to chapter 2 of Ephesians and verse 1, you were dead in your trespasses and sins. I said the darkness speaks of depravity, in which you formerly walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, of the spirit that is now working in the sons of disobedience. You not only were depraved and dead, but you were deceived by the prince of the power of the air, the spirit now working in the sons of disobedience. You were also dead in your trespasses and sin. Verse 3 says, You lived in the lusts of the flesh, indulging the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, which speaks of the coming destruction. All four elements of the darkness are indicated right there in that verse. You were that. In chapter 4 and verse 17, you walked in futility of mind. Verse 18, you were darkened in your understanding. You were excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in all unbelievers. You were marked by hardness of heart, verse 19, callous, given over to sensuality for the practice of every kind of impurity with greediness. You were. But please notice it doesn't say you were formerly in darkness. It says you were formerly darkness. The darkness is the composite accumulation of all the dark people. It's not that you're in the darkness as a victim. You're in the darkness as a contributor. You are the darkness. Apart from Christ, you are the darkness. You are a contributor. You are a perpetrator. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of homosexuality. Until next time, remember to keep the faith, stay strong, and continue to shine your light in the world. To hear these daily devotions of your daily bread, please log on to goddessgovernment.com. Goodbye, and may your faith always lead the way.